Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today we will discuss the case of Scirtec Peerless JV LLC, or STP, decided by the GAO. In this case, the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA for support services, to maintain TSA's property management program. The agency issued the RFP pursuant to the Fair Opportunity Source Selection procedures of FAR Subpart 16.5 to firms holding OASIS contracts. The RFP provided for a best value trade-off using 5 evaluation factors, which are listed in descending order of importance: prior experience, staffing approach, technical demonstration, technical scenarios, and price. The RFP's instructions with respect to prior experience directed offerors to provide a detailed description of prior efforts in terms of the project's size and scope, demonstrating how the work is similar to the requirements in the Property Management Performance Work Statement. Correspondingly, the RFP's evaluation criteria stated the agency would assess its level of confidence that the offeror provided a detailed description of prior relevant experience examples where the offeror provided property management support of a similar size and scope as the TSA property management program. The protester and Strativia submitted the only proposals in response to the RFP. The agency evaluated the responses and eventually awarded to the lower-priced, lower-rated Strativia. Upon being notified, STP protested the agency's decision. The protester alleges that the agency unreasonably evaluated Strativia's proposal, resulting in an improper best value determination. Specifically, they point out that there is little to no documentation to support the agency's high confidence assessment of the relevancy of Strativia's prior experience in terms of its size and scope compared to the agency's requirement. The agency's response to the protesters' allegations do not explain how, if at all, the agency reasonably considered the size of Strativia's prior experience efforts in determining that they were relevant to the requirement that is the subject of this procurement. Instead, the agency focused almost entirely on the agency's consideration of scope rather than size. En route to finding against the agency, the GAO noted the RFP required the agency to consider the size of offerors' prior experience examples as compared to that of the solicited requirement in determining the relevancy of those efforts. Simply put, the record does not demonstrate that the agency considered the size of Strativia's prior experience efforts in comparison to that of the solicited effort in a manner consistent with the evaluation criteria of the RFP. While we recognize that this procurement was conducted pursuant to the streamlined procedures of FAR Subpart 16.5, we nonetheless apply the requirements as set forth in the solicitation. Because the record fails to demonstrate that the agency evaluated the size of Strativia's prior experience, examples relative to the solicited requirement in making its relevancy determination, as required by the RFP, we conclude that the agency's evaluation of this factor was unreasonable and improper. Thus, the protest was sustained. Now let's address a few of the lessons learned from this protest. They include: 1. The agency's rationale for any cost-touch technical trade-offs must be adequately documented. 2. There is no need for extensive documentation of every consideration factored into a trade-off decision. And 3. Even though less documentation is required in the FAR 16.5 environment, the GAO will hold the agency to what it bound itself to perform in the solicitation. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discussed the STP case and adequately documenting awards in the fair opportunity environment. This concludes today's Source Selection Soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.